So when you hear things like, send them back from where they came from, send them all back, send them back from the country they came from, go back to Africa. They're stealing our jobs, and you have 3 jobs. You have 2, 3 jobs, and there's a labor shortage, and you're accusing immigrants of stealing your jobs. When you hear things like, go back to Africa, go back to Asia, go back to China, basically go back to your mother's womb is what the go back movement is all about. When you hear things like that, has to do with xenophobia. So hi guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Yvonne. In this particular video, I want to talk a bit about xenophobia, mostly xenophobia and racism. So a lot of things in America, I'm looking at my phone because I've taken some notes. A lot of things in America that is being labeled racism is basically xenophobia, or maybe is being labeled as America first is xenophobia. When it comes to immigration, this issue of immigration, on calling undocumented people illegal, and the reason why they're saying undocumented people are illegal basically is to dehumanize people. There is no legal or illegal people. It's just documented people and undocumented people. That's what there is. But because there appears to be a need to dehumanize people so that you can meet violence towards them, that's why there's the calling of people illegal. And part of xenophobia, of course, goes into dehumanization. The reason why you have this attitude, and xenophobia is fear, dislike, or hatred of people perceived as foreign or different. When you target people because you perceive them as foreigners or because you perceive them as different from you, when they were actually born in the same country that you belong to, they grew up in the same country, probably different lifestyle, different culture. When you perceive them as different, and your hate and your attitude, your negative attitude, mostly negative attitude towards them is because of how you perception. That is xenophobia. The difference between xenophobia and racism is racism has to do with the skin color, and it has to do with when you perceive somebody to be inferior to you based on their skin color. Xenophobia, you are perceiving them to be not to belong to the same category or to the same country as you based on your perception of them as foreign. You're not from here. It can be you're not from here, your country, you're not from here, your home, you're not from here. Basically, you're perceiving them as foreigners, as people who don't belong to the same environment or location as you. And this is based on your perception. It may not be reality, meaning they may be born in America, but you don't perceive them to be American because of their culture, the way they carry themselves, the kind of lifestyle they live. So you perceive them as foreign. That's xenophobia. So America is very xenophobic. Like if you've listened to the rhetoric that is being, the way people are talking about foreigners and the way people are talking about immigrants, you realize America is very xenophobic. And they're calling some of that xenophobia, racism. Anyhow, this video is just to highlight that a lot of things that are being labeled racism is actually xenophobia. Now, xenophobia, of course, and racism do mix. They do overlap. People will perceive xenophobia as racism because it's kind of the same, because hate is hate, But xenophobia is when you view people as foreign based on your perception, and your perception may not be reality. You're just looking at them and calling them, foreign based on your perception, and it may not be true. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.